This is Judge Joe Brown, and you're watching We All Be News TV, the
News-free Dixie.
News-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Greetings, boys and girls, scholars and laymen, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another wonderful edition of The Art of It Stinks. Black folks are doing the Dougie in Alabama, but what would the DEMS do for black people? This is my response to what happened when Doug Jones, I guess, was upset when he won against Roy Moore. Trump's pick, the Republicans' pick, you know, what's going on in the news right now with people's rape accusations from 50, 60, 40, 30 years ago is interesting. But this win was very surprising because Roy Moore seemed like he had the momentum going into the election for the special election for the Alabama U.S. Senate. But here's my question. Black folks showed up and showed out at the polls. You know, he almost got 100% of the black woman vote. Basically, he got almost 100% of the black vote, period, Doug Jones did. And really, that is the only reason he won against Roy Moore down in Alabama and Bama, okay? Because the black vote turnout was very strong. But my question is, what are the Democrats going to do for black folk? See, even when Hillary Clinton ran, back in 2016, she had a strong turnout among black women, almost 100% commitment. But it was the white establishment, in particular the white women, that did not vote for Hillary Clinton. Just like it was the white women that voted for Trump. You know, so here's the thing. Why are black folks getting out of this deal for voting for a party that has not really honored or did anything for black folk? Not since at least the 1960s. But here's the thing. It's interesting to me that we fail still to this day to heed the words of Malcolm X. He already told you what the Republicans and the Democrats was about in his message to grassroots from November of '63. He said, one, the Republicans are like wolves and the Democrats are like foxes. They are both members of the canine family. The only difference is one shows its teeth while the other hides its teeth. So I don't see, black folks, we treat religion like we treat church. It's a very cathartic, emotional experience for many of us. Not all of us, but a lot of us. But we got to start treating politics like the Vatican treats religion. Once again, we're going to have to start treating politics like the Vatican treats religion. Religion at the highest levels is about power. At the lower levels, yeah, it's about believing, but the higher level is about power, control of people, control of resources. It is what it is. Politics, the same thing. It's about the control of people and resources. Every group who benefits from politics are organized group blocks. Everybody, except for black folk, it seems. Let me give you an example. 100 years ago, roughly 100 years ago, Irish, Italians, and Jews were considered niggers. Niggers by the system. They didn't have the political clout or access. But what happened was they started organizing among themselves, whether it be organized crime, organized labor, organized whatever, because the key to getting power in this system is being an organized group with a specific agenda. Once again, The key to gaining power in the system is to be in an organized group with a specific agenda. So they started taking over the police and fire departments, the Irish, the Italians. They started taking over the political halls, Tammany Hall, New York. You know, the fire departments and police departments up in Boston, New York City, Irish, Italian, even crime. They started organizing among themselves in crime. But by them organizing, they were able to gain access. They demanded respect from the system. They were able to demand their respect from the system. Black people, we have not demanded our respect from the system. Yes, in the 60s, we protest, we march. Some legislation got passed. Very, prolific, potential, game-changing legislation. But here's the thing. Everybody has benefited from their blueprint and moved on. They not only organized in groups, but like I said before, they took over institutions. Name me one institution that black folks control. Name me one black person, whether in the halls of Congress or in the halls or in the court of public opinion, can affect public policy. Name me one so-called black leader nationally who's in a position to affect public policy. I mean legislation. I mean game-changing stuff that could benefit black folk. Name me one. You can't name one. If you're honest with yourself, you can't name one. And if you do name a person, they are maybe public, so-called public servants, but they're more celebrity than public servant. Or they more good at getting on camera than getting things done in the halls of legislation. Let's put it that way. There's, matter of fact, the HBCUs, the historical black colleges and universities, are on their way out the door. If you want to talk about black controlled institutions, so-called black controlled institutions, you can't name me one black institution that can survive without white liberal money or white folks foundation money. You can't name one black institution that can survive and be effective without that. Think about what happened in the 60s. You had SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, young activists, idealistic, but they was controlled by Ford Foundation grant money. Truth be told, the reason why they went out of it, they went into extinction was because the white liberal or the foundational money dried up for them. They actually took a secret vote back in the 60s. Read James Foreman's autobiography. I believe it's called The Makings of a Black Revolutionaries, or The Making of Black Revolutionaries. His autobiography, where he found out about a secret vote that took place to find out which groups back in the 60s will be funded, which civil rights predominantly black groups will be funded back in the 1960s. And I believe the people chose CORE, the Congress of Racial Equality, over funded Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, because by that time, the black folks kicked out all the white student activists in the organization. They feel like, we got to have a black organization that put black folks first, because Black Lives Matter back then. And that's another story, Black Lives Matter. And I want to get a little bit into those things as well, too. But back to the election, black folks put him in office. Don't let the political pundits or analysts fool you. That's the reason why the white power structure fought so hard back in the 60s to keep black Alabamians or black Alabama from voting, because they knew they would change the game. Think about this. White terrorism in Mississippi ran black folks out. They had to migrate north, east, or west. But had black folks, if black folks were allowed to stay in Mississippi without the white terrorism, without the systemic, it's not just the Klan in the sheets, but it's the legislation in the suites. If they were allowed, think about the black folks. Mississippi got the largest black population in the country. Think about if black folks were able to stay in Mississippi instead of going to Chicago, Detroit, L.A., whatever. Mississippi would have had easily would have had several black senators and a governor by now. Let me repeat. Mississippi would have had several black governors and senators by now if the black population were not disenfranchised and was not driven out by the white power structure. The Mississippi Sovereignty Commission. Look all this stuff up. Take a look. It's all online. But getting back to Alabama. Jimmy Jackson. The voting rights martyr. Like Baba Dick Gregory said. Jimmy Jackson. The murder of Jimmy Jackson by the state troopers was the reason why they was able to get that Voting Rights Act bill passed. Make no mistake about it. People must die for sacrifice in this system. Excuse me. People must die or be sacrificed for progress in this system. That's how it works. This machine runs on blood. This machine runs on blood. But what our black folks getting out the deal, right? So I said about the Jews and Italians. Here's the thing about black Americans. Not only are we not as organized as we need to be, or we lack institutional control, but we can't even agree upon as a people what to call ourselves. One time we was colored, one time we was Negro, Negra, African American, black. What is black? What country do black people come from? What is an African American? You got white folks that were born in Africa and they live in America now. Like Charlize Theron, she was born in South Africa, so is she an African American? So you got to think about all this stuff. People that come over to this country, who voluntarily come over to this country, keep their cultural identity intact. Once again, let me say, people who migrate to this country voluntarily have been able to keep their cultural identity and mother tongue because they were not aborted or disconnected from their so-called original culture. They were indoctrinated with their culture. Think about this. You know, Korean Americans know that their motherland is Korea. Italian Americans know that their mother country is Italy. You see where I'm going with this? So they know their native tongue. They know where they from. And to me, it's like when you know your native tongue, when you know where you're from, and you go to a different place, it's like you're using your currency, but it's backed by something. Your currency, which is you, is backed by a government. It's backed by an institution. When black Americans, we don't have any government that back us. Our citizenship is very complicated. Black folks, or black Americans are Americans. We are Americans. We are the original American. And that's another story. But here's the thing. We do not have the institutional support. Because black is not recognized as a people, black as a color, right? So you start getting to all this type of stuff. But what I'm saying is, we as black Americans should be able to agree upon something we can organize or rally around and let that be the foundation for us to gain political power. We want to be organized as a group to gain this. And we don't need all black people to do this for black people. It's like the 80-20 principle. 20% of the people do the actual work, while 80% of the people who don't do the work benefit from it. Just like the Civil Rights Movement. All black folks didn't agree with Dr. King. All black folks didn't march with Dr. King. All black pastors didn't love Dr. King. But yet, by the sacrifices that Dr. King and his committed group made, all black folks and even non-black people are able to benefit. Because see, when you help black folks, you helping everybody. Just like the Civil Rights Movement, affirmative action helped more white women than anybody. But it was really meant for black Americans who were the descendants of enslaved Africans, who people was already here before the Mayflower, but affirmative action was like a Trojan horse. It was used to benefit the white power structure. The white power structure make you believe that a white woman is a minority when she's a part of the majority. Once again, the white power structure will make you believe that the white woman is a minority when she's a part of the majority. See, the white man, like Brother Malcolm once says, the biggest pimp on earth. He'll pimp his grandma, his daughter, his mother out for power. He wouldn't even let his mama vote until 1920, like Baba Dick will always say. But the thing about it is, make no mistake about it, you are in their system playing by their rules. So if you want to play to win, we must learn their rules and play, to win. Because a lot of us, we're emotional. It's like in sports, when a professional team loses, a football team loses, or a basketball team lose that we love and we're fans of, we're saying we lost. But the thing about it is, the losers in professional sports still getting paid a lot of money. So nobody's losing in professional sports. Even when your team loses the Super Bowl, your team leads the Super Bowl, they still getting bonus checks. They're still getting paid. Meanwhile, you out of money. A lot of times you shit out of luck. You know what I'm saying? Bills are due, but these cats are still getting paid. And you talking about we winning, we losing. That's how we treat politics. Just because Doug Jones won don't mean black folks won, man. You know, and people say, well, Ron, you know, we got to have hope. Yeah. Okay, have hope, but also if you're going to have hope, be willing to make it real. Make your hope real. Make it real. So I believe that the black people in Alabama need to hold Doug Jones accountable. It's good if you want Doug Jones to speak at your black church and, you know, to kiss your black babies and and to be at your barbecue, but make him do something real, because this is going to determine where do we go from here. It's not just about celebration, it's about access. So I just want to get that in people's minds and heads. If you like what you heard from Brother Heard, please spread the word. Support this channel, support the movement. Feel free to make a one-time donation at PayPal or a recurring donation. And also you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/weallbe, because quite frankly, we need different points of views from people of color on issues that affect us. It is really ironic when we talk about black institutions that what used to be known as the black media institution is basically non-existent, the traditional one anyway. And it is times like these, we need black voices to be heard on uncompromised platforms. We need strong, articulate black voices to be heard on uncompromised platforms. I ain't gonna lie to you, it's been a struggle, man, because, like, you know, you got to take care of yourself. Self-preservation is the #1 rule or law of nature. Sometimes you got to be both selfish and selfless at the same time. But I know our people need messages that contradict and that counteract the so-called mainstream media news, because they're not going to tell you the truth about a lot of things. The truth that you need to hear. And we got to start training our ears and training our third eye and developing our intuition to receive truth when we hear it and see it. Don't let them dictate to you what truth is. Know for yourself. Since the election of anybody, how has it benefited you? Did the election of Barack Obama to 2 terms, by once again a strong black voting bloc, has that benefit black folks? Y'all talking about slavery in Libya, but what happened during Obama's watch? Is that not part of his legacy too? The slavery in Libya? What about the prisons for profit over here in America? We got the highest incarceration rate in the world. The majority of the prisoners that are incarcerated are black folk. You want to talk about slavery? Well, let's deal with the obvious. You know, it's good that we could get on social media and talk and speak our minds. I'm blessed that I'm able to do this. You are blessed that you can do this. You can do this too as well. But here's the thing: at the end of the day, it's about that action. What are you gonna do to right or wrong? What are we going to do to correct an injustice that we all should be able to agree upon? Fear and God does not exist in the same place. Whatever you believe is what you worship. Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in God? Do you believe in fear? Do you believe what I call white inferiority and y'all coin white superiority or white supremacy? Because white supremacy does not exist in nature. So it's a false narrative. It's a false construct. It does not exist in nature. Nature is full of color. The universe, the cosmos are black. So anyway, I say all this to say, thank you so much for listening. Once again, spread the word, support the movement, because this is about information. Information is power, and knowledge is the currency of the universe. So thank you once again, family. In the words of great Duke Ellington, we love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing. Peace.